Hello, and welcome to the first ever episode of Swarmio TV. I'm Jonathan Collins, and starting today, every other week, we're going to bring you the news and views from the world of esports. But not only that, we'll be presenting you tips and tricks for the hottest games in esports today. We have lots of great stuff planned for today's show, but first, some news from the world of esports. Valve has made some adjustments to the Prime account matchmaking beta it has been running on Counter-Strike over the past few months. The key change is to the eligibility requirements. Until now, you needed a qualifying phone number to be eligible for an upgrade to Prime status. Now, in addition to the phone number, you also need to reach the status of Lieutenant Rank 21. Another change is that players with the Prime status will now notice a new option when they queue up for a match. They can choose to allow the matchmaking beta to either exclusively search for Prime matches or prioritize Prime matches, but search for non-Prime matches after a certain period of time in the queue. A third change is that new CSGO players will receive an XP boost as they advance through the ranks of Recruit and Private. They also will gain access to competitive matchmaking sooner once they reach Private Rank 2. Valve is also upgrading the sounds in CSGO. The upgrades have begun with some weapons in the heavy category, including the Negev, M249, and Mag-7. The smoke grenade sound has also been reworked to ensure it can be heard separately from other game sounds. Reports are abound this week that Manchester United Football Club aims to sign a professional Overwatch team as they look to make their entrance into the esports industry. The English Premier Football Club are reportedly in talks with the European Overwatch team, who are currently signed to another esports organization. In addition to Manchester U, esports gaming team Fnatic have also expressed an interest in signing the same team and have already made them an offer, which prompted Manchester United to counter, potentially kicking off a bidding war. Fnatic are one of the world's most valuable esports organizations, reportedly valued at $42.5 million, and Manchester are valued at more than $3.3 billion. United are the latest football club to jump on the esports bandwagon, joining Schalke after their acquisition of the League of Legends team previously known as the Elementals, and Valencia, who signed 4 top Hearthstone pros earlier this month. I'm here with Jeremiah Francis, Hearthstone expert, and Jeremiah has brought a pretty sweet deck for us to take a look at today. This is a Zulok deck. So in this deck, we'll put the deck list up on the screen there. We got 2 Forbidden Rituals, 2 Flame Imps, 2 Possessed Villagers, 2 Power Overwhelming, 2 Voidwalker, 2 Dark Peddler, 2 Darkshire Councilman, and 2 Imp Gang Boss. And then for the neutral cards, we got an Abusive Sergeant, Argent Squire, 2 Direwolf Alphas, a Flame Juggler, 2 Knife Jugglers, a Spawn of Nazoth, 2 Defender Vargas, 1 Leroy Jenkins, 2 Sea Giant, and I think it was my favorite card in the deck, and probably yours as well, 1 Gormok the Impaler. Now this Zulok deck, it's so good, and it's such a great home for Gormok, because I don't think there has been any other competitive ladder decks that have utilized Gormok before.
Yeah, like not much people have used Gormok, not much people can find much use for him anyway in any other decks other than some Zoo decks, and this is the perfect deck for him.
I think it really is. So, Jeremiah, why don't you tell us a little bit about the matchups for this Zulok deck?
The matchups for Zulok, you want to be very, very cautious against any control type decks. So you're going to be watching out for board clears from some rogues, most control warriors, your priests, your mages. You're going to try to want to play around their big controls.
And what are the best matchups for this deck?
The best matchups are against some tempo decks and mainly a lot of more aggro decks, because this one seems to push aggro best.
So what's your game plan going into a match with, say, Totem Shaman, a deck that has seen a lot of gain in popularity, probably because of how cheap it is? You probably see that a lot. So what's your strat going into that match?
Against Totem Shaman, I want to play my most stickiest minions as I can early. That would be Argent Squire, a Voidwalker, Possessed Villager, so you can really get that board presence. So when they try to push out their Pharaoh Spirits for taunts, you can get past them easily by buffing them up with Abusive Sergeant. Or, say, if they play a Flame Wreath Faceless, which is a 4-cost, 7/7, you can Power Overwhelming, say, one of your Flame Imps or anything else with about 3 attack and just easily kill that and keep pushing for face.
So you want to get ahead and you want to stay ahead, and the cards that definitely help you do that are Gormok, again, awesome in the deck. Things like the Imp Gang Boss, so you can attack into their weaker minions, get an Imp, use that in combination with things like the Direwolf Alpha to really push that damage in. So the aggro matchups are great for this deck. The control matchups, not so much. So tell us how you play going against your control mages or decks like that.
I'll use Mage as an example. When I'm going into a match, I like to think, all right, what deck are they playing? What are they playing right now? How are they trying to manipulate my board to see if they're about to do a board clear? So what you want to mainly do is push on the board, and if they start pushing for, like, say, a Flame Strike turn 7, or they're trying to push for 2 damage Blizzard on turn 6 against your whole minions, you're going to want to try to play around that and hold minions into your hand. So when they do board wipe you, you can instantly play out more and more minions and reflood the board.
So when do you use your hero power against these more controlling decks?
You want to try to use your hero power when you're ahead or looking for answers. The best time to use your hero power is when you're definitely ahead. So when you're playing, like, say, you have the board filled up a bit, and you don't want to play much minions because you might play into, say, a Flame Strike, so you're going to want to try to life tap into some more cards for you to play later on.
Yeah, that life tap is great to kind of like out card draw them when you're forcing them to clear your board when they don't have a ton of pressure. Life tap every turn, draw a new card, see what you get, and then once they do end up having to Flame Avia, then you just reload, go to face, finish the game. So what are the absolute worst matchups? What are the matchups you hate seeing with this deck?
The matchups I hate seeing the most would have to be, it would be Cthulhu Druid and Dragon Priest and Control Priest. Those are the 3 worst matchups you can go against.
So what about them specifically makes them so abysmal for the Zulok deck?
With Dragon Priest, they're able to put out really high health minions with decent attack against all of your minions, so it's very, very hard to try to get past that wall as they'll control you down. And with Control Priest, they're able to stay back, kill all of your most threat minions, and then put out, again, a big creature to just deal with your minions.
So what are some other synergies that we have in this deck that people might not recognize right off the bat?
Some of the synergies would be, like you said earlier, would be about Imp Gang Boss into Direwolf. Every time your Imp Gang Boss will take damage, it'll pump out a Imp. So what you want to try to do is get your Imp Gang Boss all the way to the far left and have your Direwolf Alpha in the middle of the board.
And things like Knife Juggler with Forbidden Ritual as well is just great if your opponent has a bunch of one defense minions, just mow them down with a bunch of Knife Juggler triggers. Like I think that's great against the more aggressive decks in the field. Tell me a little bit about Darkshire Councilman.
Darkshire Councilman is one of your win conditions and also one of your best early board pressure minions. Darkshire Councilman has a high health of 5 and a low attack of 1, but the kicker to him is every time a minion is played, he gains 1 attack. So he has synergy with Forbidden Ritual. Say like turn 6, you can have nothing on your board, but Darkshire Councilman pump out Forbidden Ritual, and boom, you have at least you have a 6/5. No, it's not 6/5, 7/5.
7/5. Yeah, and that'll clear the board pretty quick against anything. Like, there's not much that can stand up to that, and even with 5 on the back end, like has the capability of surviving a lot of attacks into your opponent's board as well. So I really like Spawn of N'Zoth in this deck as well, where you're going wide and you have the ability to power overwhelming that, death rattle it, pump up your whole team, and go to face.
Yeah, he's really good for clearing out bigger threat minions, and also if you're controlling the board a lot, you can easily throw him into something with about 2 attacks just to kill him off, to power up your board more, and keep pushing for that damage.
So how often do you power out a Sea Giant really early with this deck?
As early as about turn 4 or 5, you can probably pump out a Sea Giant, depending on what kind of deck the other player is playing.
So, I mean, going 4 minions into a Sea Giant has got to be pretty tough for a lot of decks to beat. Like, their Wrath won't clear with the Sea Giant, or their single kill spell gets rid of the Sea Giant, but they still have to deal with the 4 minions.
Yeah. What you'd have to watch out for when playing Sea Giant is about mages, polymorph, warriors, whirlwind into execute, or ravaging ghoul into execute, or just cruel taskmaster into execute. Yeah. So don't play against warriors. You
got to watch out for that execute.
Yeah, you gotta watch it for execute. It's a pain in the butt.
So we got a Dark Peddler in the deck as well. What is the card that you always want to see when you're discovering that 1-cost card with Dark Peddler?
With Dark Peddler, you always want to try to find Power Overwhelming. It's one of the best cards for the deck, but also Dark Peddler is really situational when you're playing them, what kind of 1-drop you want. You might want a more recoil to clear out a minion to get more draw. As you can see, the deck doesn't have much draw mechanic to it.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any single draw spells, but of course the Warlock power is great for making up for that lack of card draw that the deck has. Anything else you want to say about the deck there, Jeremiah?
Nothing too much else other than try to control the board, and if you get a Leroy, try to hold your Power Overwhelmings in hand as much as you can, so you can push for like about a 14 damage combo with 2 Power Overwhelmings with them.
Yeah, I think this deck is super sweet. I know that as soon as we're done here, I'm going to dust whatever I can to get enough to buy that Gormok and finally break down and get a Leroy Jenkins, and I'm gonna take this to the ladder this week, and I think it's going to be super sweet.
Yeah, go do it. You'll probably climb up on the ladder. And as a matter of fact, for any player taking this deck, you can play it anywhere on the ladder. It's good in Legend, it's good rank 5 to 1, it's good in the low ranks. Just depends on the player.
All right, awesome. Thanks very much.
All right, and thank you.
All right, welcome back. I'm Jonathan Collins. I'm here with Todd Chant, founder of the PvP Gamer Dungeon here in Sydney, Nova Scotia, that is host to a Halo 5 Guardians tournament this Sunday. Todd, are you excited for the tournament?
I'm extremely excited. This is our 5th Halo tournament that we've done since we've opened, and each tournament has becoming more and more successful. We've tried many different things to bring in new players from all across Cape Breton and even further, and this just happens to be our biggest Halo tournament yet.
So this is, you've had a good bit of experience putting together Halo tournaments. What are some of the kind of things you learned from your first tournament up into this one?
Well, I mean, it's a very unique experience. We are new to the game. We've only been doing this location for the past 8 or 9 months. So our very first tournament is much different than our existing tournament. We learned a lot from our players, and we're always getting feedback from anyone that participates in our tournament. And I mean, more people are welcome to give feedback online. We're always looking for creating that new experience that players want. But based on all the feedback, this tournament has been planned for the last month and a half, and I think we have a very huge, successful tournament coming up.
Yeah, and it's great that you're so in touch with your community and the players of the Halo tournament as well, to give them exactly the kind of experience they want. Because to play online is one thing, but to play here locally at PvP, when you're like, you've got your team beside you and your opposing team beside that, it's just an entirely different game, really.
It actually makes for an experience you just can't get at home. When you have your players, your teammates sitting side by side, and you're communicating back and forth, not through headsets, but actually talking to people side by side, and you can hear people cheering for you. You got the other team you're playing against just about 20 feet away from you, and it just gives that experience that you just cannot get at home anymore. It's taking tournaments to a new level.
Yeah, so you have, how many teams showing up on Sunday?
We have 8 teams. Each team is 4 players, so there's 32 players, and the tournament filled up really quickly. It just shows how excited the local community is over a Halo tournament. It was just amazing how fast this tournament filled up, and as word is getting out about this place, every one of our tournaments are the same thing is happening. They're just filling up almost within a week.
And lots of plans in the future for further tournaments and bigger and better events?
Yeah, we are trying to host 3 to 4 major events every month, and we also host anywhere from 6 to 8 smaller events. And we're just, again, we're listening to the players that are playing in our tournament, and we're getting feedback with them, and we're trying to give them the experience that they want, because this is something you can't get anywhere else. It's only available here, the players really appreciate that we've created this place for them.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all the high-level play on Sunday. And if you can't check it out live, you can always check it out on Swarmio TV. So, yeah, that'll be it. We'll be back here Sunday. It's going to be a great day. Lots of high-level play. Very exciting. And thank you very much for your time, Todd.
Thank you, Jonathan.
My colleagues at Swarmio are developing a portal that will change the face of gaming and esports. Earlier today, we gave Jeremiah Francis a special sneak peek of some of the features that will be available later next month. That story after the break. All right, I'm back with Jeremiah Francis, who just had a sneak peek of the upcoming Swarmio portal. Jeremiah, why don't you tell us what you thought?
It was very clean. I loved using the interface. It was very, very, very nice to use compared to other things I've used before.
Yeah, I keep looking at this, and it's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's very unique. What about the features? What features did you see in the portal?
I've seen features like create custom games with friends. I've seen features joining servers for competitive matches, and also I've seen some friends list stuff, sort of like that, all social aspects.
Yeah, super important in a gaming portal when you want to game with your friends to have that social experience as well. But secondary only to the social experience is, of course, the lagless experience. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
The lagless experience is amazing. It's phenomenal. It's not like anybody else is trying to do out there. Say if you join a game with some friends, one person can't connect, another person's lagging, one person has perfect connection, as compared to you're all on the same equal level playing field, whether it be competitive or casual game.
Yeah, especially important for games, very competitive games like Counter-Strike, where a little bit of lag makes the difference between an excellent experience and a really poor one. Even if your opponents are lagging out and you don't have the level of competition that you'd expect, it's not good, right?
Yeah, you can be let down, because what you're doing when you're playing competition, you're trying to challenge yourself, you're trying to get better, and you can't get better when other people are lagging or your teammates are lagging and bringing you down.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So coming up on July 15th, this portal will be going into open public beta. So we'll be able to check it out then, sign up, create your own custom games of Counter-Strike. There's a little bit of custom content for Minecraft, all kinds of other games going to be on the portal, all with that lagless infrastructure set up there to provide the best experience in gaming.
Yep, and I can't wait for it to come out, because I know I myself am going to be using every day I possibly can, and I'm going to try to get my friends to use it as well.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I look forward to it. All right. Thank you very much, Jeremiah.
All right, and thank you for having me again. See you guys.
Rated M for mature.
Turn left and control.
right, folks, that is it for our first show. You can find us on Twitter at Swarmio TV. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm Jonathan Collins. Thanks for watching. See you in 2 weeks.